Here to discuss further, Jack Jupin. He is a retired FBI supervisory special agent. He is also a retired SWAT team supervisor and a member of the Joint Terrorism Task Force. Also joined by Minnesota State Representative Kristen Robbins. Great to have you both here. Jack, I'll start with you. Lots of new camera angles are being presented with this ICE-involved shooting. The cell phone footage here from this perspective, this is the agent's cell phone. It shuts down this narrative here from the left that these people were caught in a traffic jam and couldn't get out. They were there intentionally, and they were there to cause a disturbance. That is very clear from the various angles we now have. What's your take on the video and sort of how it's being portrayed as a different narrative on the left?
You know, John, I've been saying this all along since this started. I said, let's wait and see how this plays out. More video is going to show up. More witness statements are going to show up. They're going to start putting the forensics together as well. A bullet trajectory, the same, all that stuff is going to be all put together. And as you just saw, this video just came out, I believe, yesterday, late yesterday, early today. Yet another video shows up. That's why I'm saying everybody's so quick to rush to judgment that ICE is wrong. Let this play out. You know, what I'm looking at right now, I'm saying that the ICE agent is in the right. The bullet did go through the front windshield, which tells me again that the vehicle is coming right towards him. Predictable surprise. We have more ICE agents coming. You know, this is exactly what I knew was going to happen. You know, if the mayor and the governor want to fight, okay, you're going to have a fight, but you're going to bring more ICE agents into your city, not away from your city.
Yeah, and then you have the elected leaders there. The governor trying to paint a different picture here, calling Renee Good as a hero. Watch this.
I'm declaring tomorrow at 10 a.m. on January 9th, I'd ask everyone to pause for a moment of silence, to remember Renee Good, to show the goodness, to rise up, to make sure that we're being very, very clear about this, that we expect our constitutional rights to be respected, that law enforcement is local, that we expect accountability of our elected leaders, and that we are not going to go quietly.
Arguably, loss of life is never a good thing. But Kristen, what do you take of how these elected leaders are trying to paint this different picture, this narrative that their community members are putting themselves in danger to try to push back against ICE agents who are there, who have jurisdiction, who have the legal authority to be there? Is this not making the situation worse?
Absolutely. I said at the beginning that we need to be encouraging everyone to be calm, to wait for the facts to come out. I think it's really important that we don't lean on speculation. I think there will be opportunity for all of this to be produced in court and for there to be a thorough examination of all the facts, and that's what we need. Meanwhile, the role of leaders is to bring calm, to make sure it doesn't escalate, and rather than encouraging people to rise up, the governor should be encouraging people to wait for the facts and to encourage the paid protesters who are coming into our state to not come. We don't need agitators from outside. We need leaders and citizens to respect the rule of law, to respect the role of law enforcement here in Minnesota, and for everyone to, obviously, it's horrible when someone is killed, but we should also mourn the victims of people who have been killed through the victims of the crime of the people who are there taking off the street.
Right.
So
it almost feels that you've got this perfect storm right now brewing. You've got the fraud, you have the ICE agents there, and then you've got Treasury Secretary. He's also there trying to expose more of this alleged fraud in the state, resulting in billions. This is what he had to say about his plan as he looks into this. Watch.
Our citizens have a right to know that their tax dollars are not being diverted to fund acts of global terror or to fund luxury cars for fraudsters. Democratic Governor Tim Walz has allowed welfare programs and fraud to spiral out of control. Billions of dollars intended for hungry children, housing for disabled seniors, and services for children with special needs were diverted to people who cheated the system, some of whom are not even American citizens.
Jack, your take on this investigation, and DHS put out some videos showing them going door to door, collecting evidence. How deep do you think this is, Jack, the alleged fraud?
This goes very deep, and as other guests have said, this is going to multiply to many other states other than Minnesota. We're seeing, starting to hear rumblings of things in Maine, things in California. I expect this to get fully blown up. In this incident here, it's kind of interesting. This is, basically the best thing that ever happened to Tim Walz, because all the attention's not on him anymore. It's on the shooting. They're trying to place it all on the ICE agent. And they've kind of diverted away from that story of why ICE is really there, not only for the immigration crackdown, but they're there to conducting a criminal investigation. And as we all know, this is not millions of dollars. This is millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Almost equal to what their budget is that went out the door in fraud. And, that's a travesty if this is all happening. And that's what the ICE agents, have been focusing on primarily, with obviously, enforcing our immigration laws as well simultaneously. So it's a dual mission for these ICE agents, and it's a complex one, and hence why you're getting more ICE agents now.
Yeah, absolutely. Kristen, you testified on Capitol Hill on Wednesday. In that testimony, you revealed some very hard truths. I want to play this soundbite.
Al-Shabaab, the largest Al-Qaeda affiliate in Somalia, they have their hands all through this network. So taxpayer money, United States dollars that are being remitted into Somalia in parts have been utilized or have fallen into the hands of Al-Shabaab. Do you think that's a correct assessment?
Yes, we have plenty of evidence of that.
So as the chairwoman of the Minnesota Fraud Committee, you have been able to expose a lot of this. My question is, when I was in Minnesota 2 days ago, I asked these protesters, I said, why are you guys not protesting the fraud, your tax money that went to overseas to these terrorist groups? Why are there not protests outside of, government buildings? They said, we don't care. What's your response to that?
Well, those must be some of the outside agitators, because Minnesotans do care about the fraud here and the waste of taxpayer dollars, billions of dollars. It's been estimated up to $9 billion in Medicaid fraud. That's not counting the child care fraud and other programs. And we have to get to the bottom of it and have accountability. So our committee continues to hold hearings to expose the fraud, to grill agency officials. But it's happening in real time. The day I flew to D.C., our Office of Legislative Auditor came out with a new report about how DHS officials had backdated and falsified documents in behavioral health grants. So this is ongoing. We are in real time still uncovering new areas of fraud in the Walz administration, and there will be accountability.
Absolutely. And keep up that excellent work in exposing a lot and getting to the bottom of it, because it's been going on for far too long. I have to leave it there. Kristen, Jack, thank you so much for coming around and sharing both your expertise and your analysis here on this situation.